literally nothing had happened. Previously on Reading Breaking Dawn for the first time in 12 years.
I just wanted some more wolf stories.
He's an emo sad boy. We've officially hit the 50% mark. Nothing happens in this book. Okay, I was going to wait, but I feel like I'm just going to talk about it now before I forget to. I know that this book was written peak late 2000s time, maybe early 2010s. I don't actually know when Breaking Dawn was released. Google says it was released in 2008. But the lack of diversity and inclusion in this book is honestly stark. It's awful. First of all, do werewolves imprint on the same sexes? Like, do we have same-sex imprinting? Do we have gay werewolves? I want to know. Given that Leah is the first female werewolf ever, we don't know if she has also imprinted the other way. So we don't know how the mechanics work for females or werewolves that were born as females. We don't know. We don't know because it's not talked about. I think I maybe said this in New Moon or Eclipse, but I would love to see Twilight, the whole series, written more modern, written with more technology, with better inclusion, better diversity, all of that jazz. There is no other. Everyone in this book is heterosexual, and also there's no plus size characters as far as I know. At the very least, there's no main plus size characters. It begs the other question: when vampires are like frozen in their bodies, they're frozen in time, do they also get frozen to their body size and their body shape? Can we have a plus size vampire is what I'm asking. Or does the vampire magic in this world, for some stupid reason, freeze you and then make you like a tiny, thin, nimble vampire? I don't know. There's no plus size vampires, there's no plus size people, there's no diversity. And I really feel like it's since I've gotten to the fourth book in the series and we've had some time and we've had some growth and development of Stephenie Meyer's writing, I really feel like there needs to be at least some. That's just my quick thoughts before I forgot to tell you about them. Okay, we are heading out to dinner, so I unfortunately have to peel myself away from these pages. We've just surpassed page 400. I'm at 402, so more than halfway. I have about 150 pages until I am at 75% of the way, so I'm hoping to get through those tonight. And if I have time, or I so feel the desire at some unbeknownst hour tonight, I will potentially make cinnamon scrolls. But I'm late, so I'm gonna go, and I will see you soon. For you it's soon, for me it's later. I really need to stop telling you that I'm going to do things, because every time I do, I don't do the things. I'm gonna put my green tea down because it's hot. Up. Being needy. What are you gonna do now? I did not read anymore because we instead came home and watched A Man Called Otto, which is the movie based on A Man Called Ove, which is now one of my favorite books of all time. I just sobbed for 2 hours. Sobbed. I don't think I stopped crying once during that movie. I digress. We did not make it to 3/4 of the way through this book last night. So that is my plan for tonight. Hold me to it, people, because the level of dysfunction that I'm feeling right now is wild. Positives though, she's actually reading other books. We're actually getting back into reading, which is a great time. If by any blessing or chance or whatever power that may be, I get past 75% of this book tonight, we will be making cinnamon scrolls. As a result of having no energy to do anything today, I have not grocery shopped, so I have no food. So without further ado, let's read. That's why we're here. Let's read. If I wear the same jumper as yesterday, we can pretend that I, in fact, read this yesterday. But we all know, you and me, we both know, my brain is just dysfunctional and we did not read any last night. Alas, being kind to ourselves, reducing expectations, let us read. So Bella is describing Renesmee, like what she looks like when she first sees her for the first time. It's like, oh my god, I was only out 2 days, like this child is so much bigger than I anticipated her to be. And the description is like, her shiny bronze coloured hair fell in ringlets past her shoulders. Her chocolate brown eyes examined me with an interest that was not at all childlike. It was adult, aware and intelligent. And all I can picture is like the Chucky Renesmee doll that they used in the movie. That's all I can see, and I will not be told any differently. I have literally only read maybe 40 pages in 2 hours. I fell into other things, like trying to figure out how to build a custom keyboard for work.
I know I've used this joke before, but
Today's the day! The sun is shining, the tank is clean.
the tank is not in fact clean, and the sun is almost still shining, but it's the final day.
Hello. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not make it even to 75% of the way through the book last night. She thought it was going to be the last night. She was incorrect. I am officially at page 499. I didn't even crack 500 last night. I was so tired. I'm about 20 pages off of 75% of the way through the book. I also don't think I calculated the pages correctly. I think I did some incorrect math, so that could be on me. But the plan, regardless, is to finish this tonight. And I know now that I've said that, it's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna make it happen. I made it at least halfway through watching part 1 of Breaking Dawn last night, so I feel like that's an achievement, because if that is not the most boring movie in all of the Twilight series, I don't know what is. Alright, so let me catch you up. Last time we talked, literally nothing had happened. Bella had gotten pregnant and then had a child. There is almost no story that happened in between that. Since then, we spend far too much time in the transition of Bella, of her literally sitting there being like, I mustn't let them know I'm in pain. I can't let them know I'm hurting, regardless of the fact that they know what it's like because they've been through it before. She comes out of her transformation, she's a vampire. I do really struggle with the idea that Bella only found value in herself once all of her flaws were fixed by becoming a vampire. Why couldn't we just have Bella finally be okay with herself as a human with all of the things that she thought were wrong with her? She has her first hunting experience. She has immaculate control of her emotions and her thirst and her urges, which has never been seen before in vampires, because Bella is not like other girls. She comes home, she meets a daughter. Daughter can translate things by touching them, which is a weird blend between the two of their powers. She finds out that Jacob has imprinted on her daughter, and we have the classic iconic, you nickname my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster quote. I'm so glad that it is in both the book and the movie, because it is truly one of the pillars of the Twilight Saga. Bella's learning how to become a vampire. We're adjusting to the new lifestyle. Esme builds her a cottage, which, by the way, is probably one of the most aesthetically pleasing buildings that I've seen in this entire series. I would live there in a heartbeat. It seems delightful. She and Edward have their first night alone as vampires, and then they go back home to meet Renesmee when they find out that Jacob has revealed himself to Charlie. It is a tragedy. Charlie's in so much danger. Everything is bad again. We were good for a hot second there, but now everything's bad. That's where I'm at. This is where we're up to. Things are actually happening at this point in the book, which is really rather exciting. We don't have chapters on chapters of nothing. Some things I have issues with. Again, with Bella lying to the Cullens about how her transition went, she managed to get through it without showing that she was feeling pain and that she was in agony and felt like she was being burnt from the inside out. But then she continues to lie to them about it. To what end? And it's perpetuating this whole thing of her having these secrets and lying to Edward to protect him, or for him to protect her, to keep her standing in his eyes good. I just don't get it. I don't understand why it's still a plot point. I thought we were past this. What I do appreciate about Bella's power exploration though is that one, Stephenie Meyer does describe it quite well from Bella's perspective, and I don't know if it's because her senses are more heightened or if it's just because Bella was completely unaware of anything else before. Second, Jasper's scars are much more prominent now that she's a vampire and she can see more details, and it's to the point where they're actually quite like striking on his features, and I really wish that we could have depicted that in the movie, but alas, it is not so. And finally, before I leave you, to finish the book, the weird specifics on numbers that Stephenie Meyer has included in this. There is a weird fixation on, first of all, like Renesmee's growing, because that's an issue. So they're like, oh my god, she's growing 1/8 of an inch. But even before that, she had all these really specific measurements for no apparent reason. It doesn't add to the story. It doesn't add to my knowledge or my imagery of the situation. Why is it there? Anywho, I'm procrastinating. It's 7 o'clock at night. I have less time than I thought I was going to finish this book, but it's going to happen. Tonight is the night. I promise you. Hold me to that. It's going to happen. So I will see you at the end. Hi, so I am sitting down to finally finish Breaking Dawn, finally. I have less than 100 pages to go. We're in the final stretch. Again, almost nothing has happened, and I'm pretty sure nothing's going to happen. But I did want to touch base really quickly just about some of my thoughts that I've had before the end of the book. Let me rant to you really quickly. Do you know what page of the book that the conflict of this story arises? The conflict being the Volturia coming, because honestly nothing else has actually had weight in the story of like, this is threatening. So the conflict of this story is that the Volturia coming, they've been the threat since book 2, end of book 2, start of book 3. This has been the threat. They get introduced as the official conflict for this at page 531. 531! And then not only that, but the story doesn't pick up interest and actual investment or exciting information until all of the other vampires start turning up at the house to become witnesses, which doesn't happen until page 585. I just cannot get over how little plot and little story this book actually has. If cozy fantasy or cozy paranormal fiction had a genre back in the day, this would have been top of the list, because it's very much slice of life, Bella just becoming a vampire and learning how to live with that, along with the roles of mother to a half vampire, half human. There's also a little section where we get 3 months of the story in like a paragraph, which is bizarre given that we've spent 530 pages living through maybe a week or 2. So the pacing's everywhere. I love that we get to explore all the powers, and I forgot how much I really enjoy Benjamin and his powers. So where we're at now, Bella's learned that she's a shield, she's trained in her powers, she's learning how to fight, she's gone to find Jay Jenks, who is this mysterious person that Alice has left a name for. Also, Alice left. That's the other thing that's happened. She's gotten Jacob and Renesmee some passports just in case things go south and they don't survive, so that they can flee. And it's just Christmas. Christmas time is here. Also, I find the weird love triangle between Charlie, Billy, and Sue Clearwater to be weird, but also incredibly hilarious, and do we get an explanation for that? I don't know. I can't remember. It's given me a little bit of joy listening to them bickering and jokingly like picking on each other and getting really childlike stroppish. It feels very high school, and I think it just puts so much extra character into Billy and Charlie, who at this point in time are two of my favorite characters in the series. So that's where we're at. We have less than 100 pages to go. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to be done. And I want to watch part 2, but Jared has already said no very, very strongly. So, do you want to watch Breaking Dawn part 2?
No. No, I don't. Don't want to watch your vampire crap.
You said that last time, and you did, and you were very invested in it.
Spur of the moment.
So you'll watch K-pop, but not Breaking Dawn.
Yes. It's way more exciting.
He'll say yes eventually.
No.
It's done. We're done. It's happened. What a time. What a time in my life that I'm glad I revisited. Nothing really happened at the end. It just felt really rushed. It is what it is. I'm just learning to radically accept it at this point. I feel like my favorite part of the entire book is when Bella was learning to like expand and retract her shield, literally in the final battle, like on the field. Best part of the book. And also that we clarify that the wolves are actually shapeshifters and not werewolves within 50 pages of the end of the last book in the series. But all in all, we're done. That's really it. That's really how I feel. None of my thoughts have changed having finished the book. Past Meekela, who is about to send you out, has no other thoughts other than what I have already spoken about. The book could have been at least 300 pages shorter than what it is. Not to mention, the conflict at the end was just so underwhelming. The conflict in book 3 was so much better than the conflict in this one. There was like some testing of powers here and there, but there was no fight. There was no real battle. And we could talk about it being like a battle of wits or a battle of diplomacy or politics, but really, it didn't feel like it, and it just felt boring. So, with all of that being said and done, we have officially finished the Twilight Saga. We have brought it to a close, and I'm going to throw it to Past Meekela to send you out for this video. Welcome to end of video. Welcome to end of the Twilight Saga. Welcome to end of book. Me that you have just seen has in fact finished reading this book. Me currently, as of filming this, has not. I still have approximately 100 pages to go, and that is because I am poor at managing my time. Let's talk about Breaking Dawn. Despite the fact that I haven't finished the book, I can pretty confidently tell you my overall thoughts about the series. This was probably the least interesting and the most boring book in the entire series, and that's inclusive of the first one. The pacing of this book was just all over the place. Nothing happened in the first half, and then everything happened in the second half. Even though everything happened in the second half, it didn't happen with like reasonable time and spacing. 3 months passed within a page, and then we had an info dump on Bella learning to be a vampire, and then there was a battle. But then also, I'm pretty sure the battle doesn't even happen in the book. I think that just happens in the movie because they needed a conflict to put into the movie, otherwise no one was going to watch it. Anyway, I digress. One thing that I do particularly enjoy about this one is, again, I've already said it, it's the role reversal and all of the character juxtapositions and explorations that we get to do in this book, because we have a lot of unlikely friendships, but we also have explorations of enemies and hatred that's done in a really, really lovely and good way. So I enjoy that. I also really enjoy, and I didn't realize it until this book, but despite the fact that Emmett and Rosalie are together and they're a unit, and this was written in like the early 2010s, Emmett has not changed from his perspective throughout the entire series, that Bella is basically already a sister to him, despite the fact that Rosalie does not like her for the majority of the series. So that was cool. Realistically, least favorite. I think I liked it when it came out because I was in the middle of that whole Twilight obsession, the Twilight craze, and I was obsessed with the first 3, and I was just excited for the 4th one to be out. So I don't think, retrospectively, I should have liked it as much as I did when I was younger. There's lots to be said about Bella's character development and Bella's growth throughout the book, but then also throughout the whole series, because we have this ongoing difficulty with her not feeling like she is a good enough person, or that she's pretty enough, or that she can do enough things. She really feels as though she wasn't worth anything until she was a vampire. And the fact that that was confirmed and she didn't actually come to love herself as a human was really, really quite quite disappointing. And again, if I had any wish for the series, is that it would be written again with more modern themes and modern times and modern technology and just things that are a little bit more like acceptable in society now. A little bit more diversity, a little bit more inclusion, perhaps. But thus comes an end to reading the Twilight series for the first time in 15 years. Thank you for joining me on this journey. It's been a time. It's definitely been reflective. I've been able to understand a lot more about myself as a younger person, and then also now of myself as a reader. I've learned to annotate books correctly in this whole process, so that's been fun too. But overall, I just want to thank you for sticking with me for this one, because it's definitely been a slog. It's definitely not been the easiest to put up with, is a really nice way of saying it. But that is all for today's video, because I'm running out of light, as you can see. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and then the other 3 if you also watched those. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a fantastic day or night or whatever time it is where you are in the world, and I will see you hopefully next week. Goodbye.